What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today we got another trade recap for you guys. Another win. Today, not showing my trade sinker because I ended up blowing literally almost all of my accounts because I went into drawdown, and then it ended up being a break-even trade. But because my trade copier was set to like a 2 or 3x, they just hit like their maximum liquidation. So I only took this winning trade on one account, but this is for a reason, and there's going to be a lot more things, better things coming up in the future, so be ready for that. But without spoiling anything else, this is my trade recap for the day. Ended up catching a 1-to-1 R to get my win. Yeah, very clean setup. So coming into market open, right, as you guys can see, I'm in replay mode right here. We were definitely bearish. I mean, we had bearish market structure. As you guys can see, we're trending lower. We're making lower highs and then lower highs and then lower lows. I guess not, but lower lows here, lower lows. And then all of this is really just leading to one main draw on liquidity, this low right here, which was from May 12th. So a little, I think last week, yeah, literally 1 week ago when we retraced, and then we went all the way back up to all-time highs. Probably similar thing that's going to happen this week. And this was my main draw on the day. This is what I ended up taking it to, okay? So we had London highs and then Asia highs above, so I guess you could say these were our prominent draws in liquidity, but I didn't even need to see these for price to manipulate into these and then draws and then go lower, because we had so much bearish structure like fair value gaps here. I believe we had a 1 hour, we had a 1 hour that we had tapped into right here, and then we also had like a 30-minute. Yeah, we had this 30-minute again that we had tapped into, and then I believe we had like two right here. We had two 15-minute gaps, one right here and then one right here, and we also had one up top there. Okay, so that was what I was looking to tap into. And yeah, so coming into open, right, we shot up, we manipulated into those gaps that I was talking about, as you guys can see. 1, 2, okay, right. This is our low that we make at right before open. We manipulate up, and then we then form this high. We make this 1 minute. However, this 1 minute, not really a good setup. You're gonna take this. Why? Is because there's not enough confirmation, right? Especially when we shoot up, we are leaving a bunch of gaps unfilled here. Yes, you could target like an unfilled 5 minute. I believe we made one at the time, like this unfilled 5 minute. However, we had just shot up, and you don't really want to be taking the first inverse. So I don't even know if we inverse this. We do inverse it. I didn't personally like the setup just because I don't want to take this, I guess, right at right below London highs, especially when we had tapped into a 3 minute later. I guess you could have taken this, went break even pretty quick. But yeah, does end up somewhat playing out. We make this low right here, and then we come in, and then we make this high. This high was important because a couple reasons. We had created this range right here, this internal range from this low to this high, and what we're looking in this range, or at least what I'm looking for, is a level to get hit and then respected. As you guys can see, we hit this 0.786 level very nicely, and you guys can see we hit it. Boom, we react off of it. That's beautiful. We also tap into a 1 minute that's into a BPR, so we have a 1 minute BPR that's reacting off of that while still respecting a higher time frame bearish market structure. You could say we're respecting a 5 minute. Yes, we did tap into this 5 minute bullish gap. However, one 5 minute bullish gap and one 3 minute bullish gap is not enough to convince my narrative to be bullish, right? So that's why I was still remaining bearish here. Right, just we also formed our SMT. If we were to go back on MES, you can see here that the high was above, and then whereas on NQ we had the high which was below, right? So this was predicting that the market was going to go down. We had this highest time frame inversion, which was the 1 minute. So I was waiting for this 1 minute to inverse, and we inversed it right here. The reason I didn't take this setup from this short, put the stop here and then target same thing, was because of the time frame, right? We had open, this is the new 4 hour open candle, and I was kind of like, I didn't want to get accumulate manipulation distribution on the high time frame, right? That is the framework of every single move in the market, really. So obviously we have a strong draw on liquidity, but I want to see some more confirmation before taking that setup right at the new 4 hour candle. So I was really waiting just for like some confirmation or just a bearish type of really just down candle just to prove that we had so much momentum. Something that I started using was this indicator right here. This indicator really just shows me where, like, as you guys can see, right, this is like the chart. You can see where it's blue, that just means more buying power. I put it to where it's black, we see more selling power in the 1 minute candle. And as you guys can see, it's really faint here. This is something I will be releasing later, but for as of right now, we shoot straight down, right? We kind of manipulate here and we shoot straight down, right? So you could have taken this, definitely you would have seen a little bit of drawdown. I took this right after this 1 minute. Again, if you go into the indicator, you can see that this is a lot darker than most of these other candles. So I took this setup with clear jaws and liquidity, with the clear break even being this 930, or actually no, pre-market low, I guess. But right, we take it and then we just shoot straight down, take it, go break even there, edge the break even, and then deliver. So yeah, really that's all it is. It was a 1-to-1 with the stop here. Had a stop loss protected. Another confluence that I used right here was this 1 minute. A lot of times, again, I've talked about this before, I'll say it again, when we have a fair value gap, right, that we inverse, or this would be to the, when we have a fair value gap that we inverse, we sometimes tap back into the area that we inverse it, in this case right here. And then what do? We see a rejection off of that area because we had already inversed these orders from buy orders here to now sell orders. We come back in and then we confirm that we are bearish. So that was it. I believe you could have let this play out a little bit more. But again, no really main draws in liquidity, especially because everything under this would have been a high time frame retracement. So with that being said, when you're tapping into a lot of bullish confluences, you really don't want to be shorting against the market. I mean, this is a crazy big target. We had a new day opening gap, but this is another 500 points below. This is definitely not for this session. And then I believe after this, we just ended up chopping and then continuing higher to eventually take out all-time high. No, to just, yeah, but we pushed up higher and then now we are kind of still in this range. But yeah, that's all it is. Really good day. I feel like today was one of the more textbook clean days in the markets. Just being consistent with my strategy. And again, like I said, I did end up blowing a bunch of accounts, but it is what it is. Gonna get it back. You guys will definitely see that. And yeah, make sure you guys use code MISH on Alpha Futures. They're doing some crazy big sale, I heard. Can't leak too much about that either. But code MISH. And yeah, catch you up boys in the next one. Thanks for watching and peace out.